18 months in, and we're now 2+ months from the last hearing they've had on this. They won't declare it dead because they need the smear to perpetuate all the way into the election. They just want a cloud hanging over President Biden because they work as a law firm on behalf of the former twice impeached President Trump. So I don't expect you're going to hear the autopsy report on their impeachment investigation, but the president certainly deserves to hear this. In light of Republicans producing absolutely zero on impeachment, let's just declare from here forward until they put up some evidence that Joe Biden has been acquitted of every single MAGA smear. Acquitted. It's over. They're 0 for impeachment. They tried to impeach Secretary Mayorkas, and it took a second serve. They tried. Their own side voted against it. They had to bring one of their members, poor guy is suffering from cancer. They bring him out of his treatment to come in to deliver the 1-vote majority they need to impeach Secretary Mayorkas. And then it goes nowhere in the Senate. It was a second serve impeachment. It was embarrassing. Chairman Jordan may believe that everyone on this committee has amnesia because for the last 18 months, almost every time we have come into this room, we've been promised evidence of crimes that'll impeach President Biden. Over and over, noun, verb, impeachment. And President Biden has been subjected to the worst accusations. He and his family have been called the worst, and you've been promised the most as it relates to what's going to be delivered. I think it's cute. It's adorable that we're having this hearing now on oversight of the border, and we're going to go back in time and question whether the vaccine for COVID really worked. That's great. But we're not going to erase what was promised to the American people because Chairman Jordan doesn't have the goods. We've got the goods. We've got the receipts, and I want you to know what you were promised and what you're now going to be given is something completely different. So, Joe Biden sold out emergency fuel reserves to a Chinese company tied to Hunter Biden. That's an impeachable offense, said Judiciary Committee member Andy Biggs. President Biden himself may have committed impeachable offenses relating to treason, bribery, or other crimes, says Congressman Jody Arrington. His actions as vice president are a blatant crime and an impeachable offense. The tragedy is Washington has known about these crimes for years and done nothing, says motion to vacate author Marjorie Taylor Greene. Certainly, impeachable acts have been committed by President Biden, says Clay Higgins. All these are impeachable offenses, and to my Republican colleagues who say, no, it's not, that's maladministration. They're wrong, Rep. Chip Roy. Paul Gosar says Joe Biden obstructs Hunter Biden's cooperation with impeachment inquiries, speaking of subpoenas, add obstruction of justice to the list of impeachable offenses committed by Joe Biden. Greg Murphy, I don't throw around the word impeachment lightly. I don't throw around the word impeachment lightly. But in my view, President Biden has committed 2 major impeachable offenses. Doug LaMalfa says, Joe Biden obstructs Hunter Biden's cooperation with impeachment inquiries, speaking of subpoenas, add obstruction of justice to the list of impeachable offenses committed by Joe Biden. And James Comer, he's got a couple doozies. Overwhelming evidence shows President Biden lied to the American people about his knowledge of and participation in his family's corrupt international and domestic business schemes. And then he said, this is the guy who's in cahoots with Chairman Jordan to impeach Joe Biden. I mean, there's no doubt that Joe Biden committed impeachable offenses. Sounds like there's some doubt. It sounds like there's some doubt. Every day, the House of Representatives has worked as the largest law firm in Washington, D.C. on behalf of just one client. And they brought all of this nonsense into this room, promising evidence of impeachment. And they've delivered 0. But you know who has actually delivered? the FBI, because they keep arresting the best witnesses they have for their own work on behalf of Russia and China. So they bring these witnesses, they make these allegations, and the FBI says, actually, the guy that you're relying on, he's been telling you lies that have been fed by Russia. Their own Intelligence Committee chairman, this is a Republican, said that most of the claims going on in this building about Russia on their side is Russia propaganda being filtered to them by the Russians. So I don't expect you're going to hear the autopsy report on their impeachment investigation, but the president certainly deserves to hear this. In light of Republicans producing absolutely zero on impeachment, let's just declare from here forward until they put up some evidence that Joe Biden has been acquitted of every single MAGA smear. And now this hearing today is about the border. We want to help fix the border. In fact, the second most conservative member of the Senate, according to the American Conservative Union, is James Lankford of Oklahoma, the second most conservative member of the Senate. He has the crazy idea that we should surge resources to the border, put more judges there to adjudicate claims of asylum, give the president the authority to shut down the border if it's being overwhelmed. And the president, in good faith, engages. Many Democrats, including myself, in good faith, engage. And then Donald Trump realizes, wait, if we solve the border crisis, I can't politicize the border crisis. And so he tells them, don't pass that bipartisan legislation. Senator Lisa Murkowski, a Republican, said, I'm not giving up. This is not about Trump, and it's not about me. It's about our country. Senator Todd Young from Indiana said, I hope no one is trying to take this away for campaign purposes. Senator Bill Cassidy, a Republican from Louisiana, said, how does Trump know it's a betrayal if he hasn't read it? I mean, don't be ignorant, read the bill. And James Lankford, the author of the bill, said, it's interesting. Republicans 4 months ago would not give funding for Ukraine, for Israel, and for our southern border because we demanded changes in policy. And now it's interesting. A few months later, when we're finally getting to the end, they're like, oh, just kidding. I actually don't want a change in law because it's a presidential election year. One side wants the fix, one side wants the fiction. That's entirely what this is about. So we'll engage you in this exercise, and you can send your letters about what you'd like to see on the border, but we actually stand ready to get things done. What you're seeing today is not oversight. It's overkill. And I yield back.